'Twas then King Arthur beheld lovely Guinevere, the king's fair daughter, he loved but only his. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Brianna. What this video is going to be about is basically what I plan on doing this month, which is the month of May. Now, the month has already started a little. I know, I'm a little behind, but I was finishing up vlogs for the month of April because of Camp NaNoWriMo and everything, so I just finished that up and now we're going to jump into this. I'm going to try and do a monthly update vlog, or a monthly update video, and it should come more at the very beginning of the month, the next couple times I do it, but for this time, it's just going to be when it comes out. If this is the first time you've ever seen any of my videos, no, I don't normally dress with crowns and dresses. I wanted to do something fun because why not? A big reason why I'm dressed like the way I am is because I just read The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. This story is basically, if you hadn't guessed by the title, a retelling of the Arthurian legend. Guinevere is the main character, and that was a huge thing that I was interested in because a lot of old legends and stories are told from the male perspective. Guinevere is an interesting character. The whole story is pretty interesting because it's written in such a way where secrets and things that aren't said and things that aren't known are a huge part of the story, and we gradually see more and more of those secrets come into play chapter by chapter. We see this very well in the very first chapter. When we're reading the first chapter, they only say she. They're talking about she, and the whole time you're listening to this and you're reading this and you're saying, well, we know who she is. The story's about Guinevere. But then, very last line of the first chapter is crowd roared, shouting the name Guinevere over and over. If only it were actually her name. So the whole book is just consistent of you thinking you know what's going on, and then you learn something new, and the story reframes itself, and things change, and it was really good in that perspective. I really liked this story, and I would read the next one because it is a trilogy, I believe. All the things that we don't know about the characters make them incredibly interesting because I have so many theories about the main character and I have so many theories about other characters, and it's really interesting because if you know anything about the Arthurian legends as you're reading, even like basic knowledge of who betrays who and who the big characters are in the story, you like think you know what's going on, but then as you continue reading, you're like, okay, it still fits the legend, but it's very different. So, plans this month. Basic plans are editing, the novel that I'm going to be writing, and then the novel that I'm writing for fun, and then also the TBR of books that I'm going to be reading this month. So, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is editing plans. I did post on my Instagram a little while ago that I was ready for beta readers and I was going to send out my novel. Then I watched some videos with authors that have sent out to beta readers and gotten that stuff, and they were saying, well, you really shouldn't send out your story out to beta readers until you know you can't do anything more with it. After watching those videos, I realized I really can do quite a bit more with it. Instead of sending it off to beta readers, I am going to be doing a bit more editing. This round of editing is going to be much simpler than the last round of editing, however. The last round of editing, I was literally filling in gaps and figuring out what parts of the story I was missing and where it needed a little more filler and everything. So that took a lot more time. So this round of edits, I am going to be focusing on world building and making sure that all my characters are the way I want them to be portrayed. This part is so much simpler, and it's a lot more fun than filling in the gaps and having to write new scenes and rewrite scenes and stuff like that. That's a little intimidating. but since I'm just filling in descriptions and everything, it's kind of the fun part. It's like filling out the world and picturing it in my head, and I am loving it so far. I've only really edited like 1 or 2 chapters, but it's a lot of fun to just be in the world. And I feel like with my last 2 writing sections, when I wrote the first draft and the second draft, I was so focused on getting the base down that I didn't really focus on the world. So now I'm focusing on the world and it's so much fun. But that is what I'm doing editing wise. I am incredibly eager to get all this editing done for the 3rd draft so I can get it to beta readers, so I can get it to the point where I can send out query letters, get in the works of finding an agent, and getting to where I can start publishing. So then other things that I'm going to be talking about are writing plans. There's 2 things that I'm going to be focusing on writing-wise. The first one is my story that's never going to see the light of day. If you have been following my vlogs, you've heard about it in the last 2 weeks. I've talked about it. It's basically a werewolf story that I never plan on getting published, and I love the fact that I have a story like this, a story that's just for fun, because if I just have a story that's for fun, then I can do whatever I want with it. I don't have to worry about it being cheesy, and I don't have to worry about it having the correct pacing, or whether or not this is a plot hole, or whether or not this makes sense, because I'm never going to publish it. So it's a lot of fun to have a story where I can just do whatever I want. I mean, it has boundaries in it. It's a world with supernatural, and I'm not going to be introducing like aliens or anything in it. I'm going to follow the basics because I am a writer, and moving too far away from the genre and what the story's boundaries are would probably mess with my brain a little. But I'm super excited to write this story, be able to work on this story, because I can do whatever I want, and it kind of gets me back into loving writing, because I've been trying to finish my drafts and I've been trying to do NaNoWriMo. So lately my writing has just been get it done, get it done, get it done. And now I can kind of relax. The next writing project that I'm going to be focusing on is the one I was actually focusing on during Camp NaNoWriMo. This story is called Midwest Gothic. It's based in Midwest of the United States, where there's a bunch of corn, there's a bunch of roads, and there's not a lot of civilization. What I want this story to be is basically an ode to the Midwest, because I love where I grew up. It's kind of going to be an ode to the things I loved about the place where I grew up. I'll be working on that slower than during Camp NaNoWriMo, because I don't like having to push myself and write. It gets words down. But ultimately, I don't feel like I put in enough thought when I do that. I will be writing Midwest Gothic at my own pace and kind of more focusing on the fun parts of it and digging into the story a bit more. And another thing that I have to work on this month is teaching. I still have to finish the yearbook, I still have to teach, I still have to do things, I still have to clean up my classroom, I still have to do life stuff. The last thing I'm going to be talking about today is my TBR for the month of May. 2 of these I've talked about before. I didn't get to reading them, so they're just going to be in the May. This is actually the jacket, Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. Look at this cover, and then you've got the blue on the side. It's just a beautiful book. So that's my first on my TBR. Then the next one is going to be Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This is going to be the book club book for Kate Kavanaugh and Jessica Williamson's talk. They do book talks, and this is going to be the book that they are reading. I have seen this book in quite a few places, and I've been interested in reading it, so I thought I would read it along with it. Last one is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. A big reason why I am reading this book is because I feel like I've read nothing but fantasy for the last month. I've read so much fantasy, I need a change. So, Aurora Rising, which is a sci-fi, and it sounds awesome. I have those 3 books that I will be reading this month. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I will be having some more writerly content as the weeks go on. Thank you, bye!
'Twas then King Arthur beheld lovely Guinevere, the king's fair daughter. He loved but only her. When the kingdom freedom gat from the wars and jealous strife, the barons begged King Arthur to wed a loving wife. With Merlin to counsel, who deemed it good and wise, and asked the king if any maid found favor in his eyes. Then answered Arthur, there is one I deem her fair, the daughter of my trusty friend, that is the lovely Guinevere.